Hi, this is Chris Young, and welcome to Good News on Tap for the Feast of the Baptism of the Lord. Last week we celebrated the Feast of the Epiphany, which was Jesus revealing himself to the Magi and in turn to the Gentiles as the Messiah. However, Epiphany really stretches over a 3-week period, which includes this week, the Baptism of the Lord, and next week, which is the wedding feast at Cana. All three of these events, Jesus is revealing himself, and in the last two, beginning his public ministry. We can see in the gospel reading that the people were really longing and hoping for the Messiah to come. Many thought perhaps John the Baptist was indeed the one they had been waiting for, but he made it clear to them that it wasn't him. Then when Jesus himself was baptized by John the Baptist in the Jordan River, we heard a voice coming from above, declaring, "This is my beloved Son. With you I am well pleased." Many people ask, why did Jesus need to be baptized? Well, that's because we think of baptism only as washing away sins. While baptism does cleanse us of original sin and any personal sins we may have committed prior to our baptism is about more than just that. Baptism is a sacrament of initiation. It's about new beginnings. Through baptism, we become adopted children of God, and likewise adopted brothers and sisters to Jesus. So Jesus didn't need to be baptized to be cleansed of any sin, but he did want to use baptism as a formal initiation into his public ministry. He's baptized as an example to us of what we're supposed to do. Some theologians have even suggested that when Jesus was baptized, it wasn't the water which sanctified him, but he sanctified the water and allows water to be used as an instrument of our baptism. This carries on the theme of incarnation theology, which we talked about on Christmas Day. The idea that Jesus' presence in the material world sanctified the world and made it different than it was before he became part of the material world. When we're baptized, we literally become a new person completely. The old self has died and a new self rises again. So Jesus is giving us a foreshadowing of what he's going to do later when he dies and rises to new life. And when we're baptized into that death and resurrection along with him. We know very little about Jesus prior to his public ministry, but it's easy to see that after his baptism, he was no longer just an ordinary son of a carpenter who had little impact on the world. If he had not put the past 30 years of his life behind him and moved into this new public ministry, we might never have known anything about him. So his baptism is very much a turning point in his life as well. For most of us who were baptized as infants, we didn't get the chance to experience the change that occurred when we were baptized. But we ought to take this opportunity to reflect on what it means to be a child of God and to be adopted through baptism. Baptism is also what prepares us and makes us worthy for ministry. Although we may not be called to go out and preach or teach, we do have a call to some form of ministry for God. Our baptism makes us worthy to do God's work and to make God present in the world. We need to look for ways to make our lives as baptized Christians a way for others to see God's presence in the world and to experience an epiphany of their own. And if we seek the will of God and do all we can to follow that will, then we know that our Father in heaven is looking down on us and saying, "This is my beloved son or daughter. With you I'm well pleased." And that's Good News on Tap for the baptism of the Lord.